When I transferred to Greystone University, I didn't expect to be assigned to Oak Ridge Hall, the oldest dorm building on campus. The ceilings creaked, the pipes whined, and the whole place smelled faintly of mildew and something sweeter, almost like decaying flowers. My room was on the third floor, tucked in a corner where the hallway lights flickered more than they shone. The walls were yellowed with time, and the radiator hissed like it resented being disturbed. But the strangest thing about the room wasn't the noise or the cold that seemed to settle into your bones. It was the bathroom mirror. The first night after I unpacked, I went to wash my face. The mirror was old. The silver backing had worn thin in places, leaving cloudy patches. As I leaned in to brush my teeth, I saw something not quite right. A faint outline. A smudge? No, a shape, like a girl standing just behind me. But when I turned, no one was there. The room was still, quiet, except for the slow drip from the faucet. I laughed it off, told myself it was fatigue. But the next night, it was there again. This time, clearer. A pale face in the upper corner of the mirror staring straight at me. Eyes wide, mouth slightly parted like she was mid-sentence or mid-scream. I spun around so fast I almost slipped. Nothing, just cold tile and silence. I didn't sleep well that night. The radiator hissed louder. I kept imagining footsteps in the hallway, a soft knock that never quite came. By the fourth night, I had convinced myself I was just spooking myself. New place, new stress. The mind plays tricks, right? That night, I turned off the lights and stared into the mirror again, just to prove to myself it was nothing. But in the darkness, the face was there. Not vague this time. Fully formed. A girl, hair hanging limp over her shoulders, skin pale like wax, dark circles under her eyes like bruises. Her mouth slowly curled into a faint, unnatural smile. And then she moved, just a flicker, like a twitch of her head. I flipped the light switch and the mirror showed only me. My face, pale with fear, eyes wide, just like hers. I started showering with the door cracked open after that, using the mirror as little as possible, but even when I avoided it, I felt her. You know that feeling. When you're not alone. I'd feel it strongest when I was brushing my teeth, as if someone stood just behind my shoulder, breathing lightly. Sometimes the steam would form handprints on the mirror that I hadn't touched. Out of desperation, I asked the RA about the room. He got quiet, said some rooms in Oak Ridge weren't used for a long time, that mine had been closed for maintenance for a couple semesters. No one would say more, so I started digging. Old student forums, Reddit threads, even found a scanned article from the campus newspaper dated 10 years ago. A girl had gone missing, a freshman, last seen entering the very room I was in. Her name was Emily Hart. The article said she was quiet, often kept to herself, and that her disappearance was never solved. A chill ran down my spine when I saw the grainy photo. It was her, the girl in the mirror. That night I didn't sleep. I couldn't. The radiator hissed like it was alive, like it was breathing. I turned the mirror to face the wall, but the next morning, it was back in place. Not moved. Reset. And it was clean. Completely spotless. No fog, no streaks. I'm like someone had carefully polished it. The next time I saw her, she was closer. The mirror didn't reflect the room anymore. Just her, standing in a space of endless black, one step nearer to the glass than before. I reached out once, against my better judgment. My fingertips met the surface, cold. Colder than glass should be. That night I dreamed of her. I was in a dark room with a single hanging bulb swaying above. She stood in the corner, watching me. Then she whispered, You're mine now." I woke up gasping. The mirror was fogged up again, but in the center, someone had drawn a handprint, long and thin, with 5 fingers dragging downward. That morning, my reflection started to lag. When I waved, it would wave half a second late. When I turned my head, it stared just a beat longer than it should. By the end of the week, it stopped reflecting me at all. Instead, the girl was there, smiling wider, closer to the glass. I covered the mirror with a sheet, taped it down. But at night, I'd hear the sound of fabric tearing, a dragging noise, something trying to get through. I told the housing office I needed to transfer rooms. They said it'd take 2 weeks. I'm not sure I'll last that long. This morning, I looked at the mirror again. I wasn't there, but she was, standing right where I should have been. And this time, she raised her hand and waved. I don't know what happens when the mirror finally stops showing anything at all, but I think I'm going to find out. I work remotely. It's mostly back-end development, quiet, solitary, just me and my dual monitors glowing in the dark. I've always been a night owl. Midnight is my peak focus time, and I usually don't sleep until around 4 a.m. It started on a Tuesday. At exactly 3 a.m., I heard the 3 soft knocks on my front door. Not urgent, not loud, just steady. 3 of them. Knock, knock, knock. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Not completely isolated, but far enough from downtown that there isn't much foot traffic at night. Still, I figured maybe it was a delivery error or some drunk neighbor. I got up, annoyed, and checked the peephole. No one was there. I opened the door. The porch light was on, and everything looked normal. No footprints on the dewy concrete. The motion-activated security camera hadn't triggered. Odd, but not terrifying. Just unexplained. The next night, I worked later than usual. Around 2:45 a.m., I paused my playlist and got up for a stretch. That's when I felt it. A sudden drop in temperature. The air inside felt colder, even though the thermostat still read 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It was like something had entered the house without opening a door. 3 a.m., knock, knock, knock. Exactly the same, measured, calm, as if whatever or whoever it was had infinite patience. This time, I didn't open the door. Instead, I checked the security footage on my phone. The live feed showed my front porch, empty, no motion alerts, but the knocking continued. Clear, physical sounds as if someone were knocking just a few feet away. No wind, no animals, no footsteps, just the knocks. I didn't sleep that night. The third night, I was ready. I set up my phone on a tripod pointing toward the door, and I had my main monitor displaying the security camera in real time. I even placed a glass of water on the doorknob to see if any vibration occurred. 3 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. Louder this time. Deeper, as if a heavier hand had hit the door. The water didn't move. The camera showed nothing. My ears said someone was there. Every part of me felt someone was there. I stayed frozen at my desk, not daring to move. The knock stopped, but only after the third one. It never went beyond that. Never a fourth. Night 4. I didn't work. I sat on the couch in total darkness, watching the door. At 2:58 a.m., a creaking sound came from the hallway behind me. I turned slowly. Nothing there. But the chill was back. My skin prickled. The air felt thick, like I was underwater. Then, from the front door, knock, knock, knock. Firmer. Closer. Like someone leaning into the door, whispering through their knuckles. I didn't move. I just listened. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then something new. A tap on the living room window, right beside me. Just one. Delicate. Like a fingernail. I jumped up, pulled the curtain open. Nothing. No one. Not even the faintest breeze. I checked the outside footage later. At 3 a.m., there was a glitch. Just 2 seconds of static. When the feed resumed, the timestamp had jumped 3 seconds ahead. Nothing else. On the 5th night, I tried sleeping with noise-canceling headphones on. I blasted white noise at full volume. It didn't help. At 3 a.m., I still heard it. Through the headphones. Knock, knock, knock. Inside my head, it seemed. Not through my ears, but behind them. I ripped the headphones off and stood in the center of the living room, heart pounding. The sound had stopped, but something else remained. A presence. Like someone watching from the dark corner near the hallway. Then I realized the knocking had moved. It wasn't from the front door anymore, it was coming from the bedroom door behind me. I didn't check. I didn't need to. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I left the lights on. Night 6. I went to a friend's house and stayed until morning. He thought I was joking. He laughed and said I needed rest. At 3 a.m., my phone lit up with a notification from the home security app. Motion detected front door. I played the clip. The screen showed static again, but this time, longer. Nearly 6 seconds of distorted feed. When it returned, the porch light was flickering. Then I saw it. A shadow moved across the glass panel of my front door. Not a person. It was too tall, too thin. And it moved like it was gliding, not walking. That was last night. Now it's 2:59 a.m. I'm writing this as fast as I can because I know what's coming. I didn't go anywhere tonight. I'm here, alone. The door is locked. The curtains are drawn. I turned off all the lights. But I can feel it again. That cold, that presence. It's not outside anymore. It's here. It's closer than it's ever been. 3 a.m. Knock. From the hallway. Knock. From the bedroom. Knock. Right behind me. I'm not turning around. I live in a quiet neighborhood just outside Portland. Nothing much ever happens here. The streets are lined with identical 2-story houses, every lawn trimmed just enough to show that someone still lives there. But it's always been a little too quiet at night, especially on Willow Lane, my street. It started 3 weeks ago. I came home late after a night shift at the diner. The bus dropped me off 3 blocks away, and I had to walk through Willow Lane to get home. That's when I first saw him. He was standing completely still under the streetlight 2 houses down from mine. A tall man in a long, dark coat, face shadowed by the brim of a wide hat. At first, I thought he might be waiting for someone. Or maybe he lived nearby and just liked to smoke in peace. But something about how motionless he was. Not even a flick of the fingers or a shift of weight. It sent a jolt through me. I hurried home and didn't look back. The next night he was there again. Same spot, same coat, same silence. Except this time I felt like he was watching me. I couldn't see his eyes. His face was always obscured by shadows. But I felt it, like a pressure building at the back of my neck. You know that prickling feeling when someone stares at you from across the room? Multiply that by 10. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe just some weird neighbor with insomnia. Maybe even a mannequin. My brain tried hard to rationalize it. But every night he was there. By the end of the first week, I started taking photos. I'd stop just short of my driveway, pull out my phone, and snap a picture. The camera would click, I'd rush inside, lock every door, and check the image. Every time it showed the streetlight, the empty sidewalk, but no man. The first photo I blamed on bad lighting. The second? Maybe he walked away just as I took it. By the fifth night, I couldn't deny it anymore. He never showed up in the pictures. One night, curiosity overpowered fear. I decided to record a video instead. I stood on my porch, zoomed in, and hit record. The man was there, clear as day. I even whispered into the mic, "You see him, right? Right there under the light." When I watched it back, there was nothing. No man. Just a flickering street light and the sound of my breathing. That's when the dreams began. In them, I'm standing under the street light, looking up at the house. My house, watching myself through the window. But I can't move. I'm frozen, trapped in a body that isn't mine. Sometimes I can hear whispering. Not in any language I know. Just whispering. Last Tuesday, something changed. I got home, and he wasn't at the streetlight. For a brief moment, I felt relief. But when I turned the key in the door, I heard something behind me. A slow, deliberate step on pavement. Then another. I didn't look. I didn't want to look. That night, I woke at 3:12 a.m. Every light in the house was off. I swear I left a lamp on. My phone was dead. As I sat up in bed, I heard it. A soft tapping on the window. Not knocking. Tapping. Like fingernails. I live on the second floor. I didn't sleep again that night. Yesterday, I called the police. I didn't tell them everything. Just that someone might be lurking near my home. At night. They sent a patrol car around 10 p.m. I stayed up to watch. The officer drove slowly down the street, spotlight scanning both sidewalks. He stopped briefly under the streetlight, right where the man always stood. And then, he just kept going. No reaction. No mention of anything unusual. When I checked the footage from my doorbell camera this morning, the officer's car rolled by. Alone. No one standing under the light. I don't go out at night anymore. I've taken time off work. My curtains stay closed, but last night I made a mistake. I peeked. He was there. Not under the light this time. Closer. Half in shadow, half in moonlight. Standing at the edge of my yard. Closer than he's ever been. I didn't sleep. At dawn, I checked the porch. There were no footprints. No marks on the grass. But on my front door, smeared in ash or soot, was the imprint of a hand. Fingers longer than human. Thumb too far down. And written beneath it, scrawled like a warning, were 3 words. You looked back. I haven't left the house since. I don't think I ever will again. But as I write this, the sun is setting. And from the corner of my eye, past the edge of the curtain, I think he's closer tonight.